Hi, everyone. This is Joseph Kirkpatrick, and I just got finished watching the rocket launch into space. It's so exciting to see a new chapter in the space program. There's something that's just so captivating about the space program and all the things that go into that to get a rocket to launch and go up into orbit. And can't help but remind you of the great JFK speech. He was introducing the moon mission to America, and he talks about, why do we go to the moon? And he says, because it's there. Why do we climb a mountain? Why do we sail the Atlantic? Whenever we see these challenges in front of us, we have to take them on. If we are bold, if we want to explore, if we want to learn new things, if we want to grow, then you have to face challenges with that type of boldness and that type of confidence. And I believe that God made us that way. Whenever I think about the difference between the moon program, why did he let us build a rocket that goes to the moon, and we were able to plant an American flag on the surface of the moon and come back to Earth? Why did he let us do that when he wouldn't even let the people in Babel build a tower up into the heavens? If you look at the difference between the two events, I think the language that was used in both of those is very different. You'll notice in Genesis 11, when they're talking about building the tower, they say, let's do this thing for ourselves. Let's make a name for ourselves. But today, when I watched the rocket take off, the lady who was doing the countdown and announcing the different, actions and stages of the launch, she said to the vehicle, Godspeed. She acknowledged God in what they were doing. When you listen to JFK's speech about the moon mission, he says, we ask God's blessing to take on this hazardous and dangerous and challenging mission. And so God was acknowledged when we decided to go to the moon. When Armstrong and Aldrin were orbiting the moon, they took the Lord's Supper. They read scripture. God was honored in what we did with the moon mission. There wasn't any honor from the people when they were building the tower in Babel. And God saw this when it was happening. He said, these people, nothing they plan will be beyond them. God created us with all of this ability, all of these skills. He has put within us the ability to do these great things and to grow like that. And especially when we work together, there's not much that will hold us back when we all get together and we take on a mission like that. And God saw that and he acknowledged it. And so he had to confuse those people because they were doing it for themselves. But this great space program that was developed in the 60s and is still as exciting today, the people who have been involved in that honor God through it. And so that's why I believe we've had success, because God gives success to people who honor him. 2 Corinthians 16 verse 9 says that the eyes of the Lord go to and fro the whole earth, seeking to make strong those whose hearts belong to him. God is the source of our strength. He's the one who makes us strong. He's looking for those people who have given their heart to him, and he will give us that boldness. He will give us that confidence that we need to accomplish these great things. This week, I had a client in Israel criticize our value statement. They said, we don't want to see the name God in any of your materials that you give to us. And that's just not who I am. I believe that it is entirely appropriate to acknowledge God. I learned a long time ago that God owns everything. He owns the company that I work for. He owns my talents and skills that he gave me. He owns my employees. He owns my clients. And so we wrote a value statement years ago that says, acknowledging God's leading role, we strive to serve with innovation, integrity, gratitude, and the golden rule. God is the one who gives us the ability to innovate. He tells us that the people who have integrity will succeed. He tells us that we're supposed to be thankful in all things whenever we're going through good things and bad things. And he tells us to treat one another the way we want to be treated. So I'm not going to be ashamed of our values, and I'm going to be kind, and I'm going to be professional to anybody who disagrees with me on that. But at the same time, I'm going to be bold about who we are and what I believe, because these last few months that have been very odd and strange, we've been bold here. We've been confident, and we've pressed forward. And February, March, and April were the best 3 successive months that we've ever had in our 15 years. And so during a time when people are nervous and they sit back and they wait for other people to take care of things, and they think that they can't do anything, and somebody needs to come in and help them, I try to be an example to the people around me that we're going to be confident. We're going to be bold because that's what God gives us. He's given us the ability to take on these challenges and to overcome them. And that's how we're going to be. And I believe that God gives success when you acknowledge him, when you honor him, because he's the reason for it. We didn't do it of our own accord. It happened because God did it. And that's what I believe I've learned from that passage in 2 Corinthians 16:9. And I'll close with it one more time. The eyes of the Lord go to and fro the whole earth, seeking to make strong those whose heart trusts in him.